Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NJUCF webinar, Completing Your Annual Accomplishment Report. My name is Michael Martini, and I'll be your host today. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping rules. You should see a control panel in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Click the orange arrow at the top if necessary to expand the panel fully. Lots of useful information can be found in the control panel. For example, you will find the CEU sheet that you must sign and return back to us for your credit for today. At the bottom of your control panel is a question chat box. While you can type questions into these boxes at any time during the webinar, we'll be addressing questions at the end of Carrie's presentation. Today's webinar is recorded, and you'll receive a follow-up email after the webinar is over with a link to the recorded webinar. A link to the recorded webinar will be posted on our main webpage, NJUCF webpage, communityforestry.nj.gov. I would like to now turn things over to Carrie Sargent.
Good afternoon, and hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Sorry for those attendees if you happen to hear some early webinar banter as we were, getting our new team all up to and running on our GoToWebinar capability. So today we're going to just give you a short opportunity to go over with us the details of the annual accomplishment reports. So many of you will remember that the annual accomplishment reports are actually not due for the current year until February 15th of the following year. We know that the end of the year is really busy for everybody, and it's hard to just at least get the information from some of the people you need to get it from. So that's why it's later. In conjunction with the February 15th date, New Jersey has also coordinated with the Arbor Day Foundation. So if you are also interested in getting recognition as a tree city, those applications are also due on February 15th. So the first thing to do is for us to find out how do we access the form for our annual accomplishment report for 2019. So if you go to the New Jersey Urban and Community Forestry website, you can see the long of it at the top of your screen in the address bar. But also, if you Google or Bing communityforestry.nj.gov, that will take you directly to the page that you see here on your screen. And then, as we said, we know that there's limitations currently to our website. So we just try and provide everything to you that you will need right on this front page. So again, it's communityforestry.nj.gov. And then this page should appear on your computer. If you look down, it'll say NJUCF 2019. Oh, nope, sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Annual Accomplishment Report Form 2019. And so that's where we want to click for today. So you go to the website and you click on the annual. What do you mean that page doesn't? Oh man, I have to refresh. Sorry, he uploaded, Mike? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do it here. So you click on that link. Sorry, everybody. We updated something on the form and it must not be loaded onto the internet, but as soon as you need to get it, it should be better. So here's what and when you click on that link, this is the report that'll appear. We redesigned this report a couple of years ago to help you all get a better sense of the implementation of your community forestry management plan, where you are compared to where you said you would be, and then also much of this information is also very important to our program, and we use it for our federal reports to the U.S. Forest Service. And then that's how the U.S. Forest Service determines how much funding that we get over the base amount set for every state. So this information is used. It's really important, and we really appreciate you working with us to provide it. So for everybody, we would be reporting on year 2019. So you can go ahead and just type that in. The date of the report submission, we just want to know when you're sending it to us. Like, we'll have it in the email, but this helps us have it in the file so that, you know, we know when they did and if it doesn't get entered into the system right. So that's why we ask for that date there. Your municipality, if you are only from a county, you can just write NA in this box, and then just write your county in there. Or, you know, if you're from, you know, a town, you write your town in there, and then your county. One of the updates, there's a drop down bar. So which plan, CFMP 5-year period you're reporting on. There's going to be an additional bar here if you have a plan that was approved in 2019. So you just pick the 5-year plan that you're operating from, and that you're reporting on, and that's what goes there. The contact name, it should be the person responsible for preparing this annual accomplishment report and submitting it to us. It's really important. I know that sometimes people, you know, want the head of the division or whoever as the contact for the report, but that really doesn't help us, and we allow you a place to provide that information later on in the report. But this is the primary person we need to reach out to if we have any questions, and we know is the point person for this annual accomplishment report. Right now, we don't have any asterisks next to the boxes requiring any specific, because we just assumed that it would be understood that every question must be answered. So we do ask that you answer every question. If you don't have an answer, just let us know that. Either put NA or no answer, or more information needed, et cetera, et cetera. So once we're done with the primary contact information, excuse me. Uh-oh, cold season. All right, so once we're done with the primary contact information, we get on to the general information about your program and your implementation of the plan. So question 12 asks, does your community have a tree care professional on staff? And we ask you to let us know if they're employed or retained, so we get a sense of how our communities are utilizing tree and forestry professionals. And so you just click the box, yes, somebody is employed. That means that they're a full-time staff member of your municipality. Retained means that you have somebody, a professional on contract that you can call in and refer to when you need professional advice. No, and then other. So just specify if you have some other unique arrangement that allows you, excuse me, you to access a arboriculture or forestry professional for the implementation of your program. I alluded to earlier that that a lot of this information is used to inform our federal reports. So this is actually one of the boxes that I have to click. The U.S. Forest Service asks us, so I have to report on all of the 565 municipalities in New Jersey by clicking and unclicking at least 5 check boxes next to each municipality, and this is what goes to the Forest Service. So professional staff is one of the questions that they ask. So we really do need this information, and it goes to the feds and our funding. It doesn't matter what the answer is, but I just need to understand what's going on. The next question is, does your community have a tree inventory? If there's any sort of formal evaluation and record keeping on your municipal trees, where they are, what species they are, how you're, understanding and informing your management versus in relation to your species composition and what you're planting, your maintenance routine, your risk tree assessment. So we just have to understand that whether you have a complete inventory for your all your public lands, if it's a partial inventory focusing on certain areas, or if you don't have one yet. Remember also, if you don't have an inventory yet, we do provide grants for inventories as long as your municipality is accredited with us, and we do plan on providing those grants again in 2020. So question 14 is, we ask if you've submitted your Tree City USA application. Many of our communities, were 5th in the nation in our number of Tree City USAs, and many of our communities receive national recognition for the work that they're doing to be accredited with us under our state program. And there's a lot of confusion between Tree City USA and the state's urban and community forestry program. So the state's program is one thing, and then the Tree City USA program is another program sponsored by the Arbor Day Foundation, which is based in Nebraska, and they're now an international nonprofit that coordinates the Tree City USA program so that you can get national and now international recognition for the work that you're doing in New Jersey. So the way that Tree City USA works, and tomorrow Shannon and Mike can tell you a little bit more about that application and the program, but excuse me, so is that every state reviews the applications for the Arbor Day Foundation. And so once you submit your application there, it comes to us, we review it and make sure it meets all the criteria. And then, the state forester sends, approval up to the Arbor Day Foundation that just says, yes, these communities meet the Arbor Day Foundation's criteria for Tree City USA. What we've tried to do as well is link our annual accomplishment report directly to the Tree City USA application, so that all you have to do to get the recognition that you've already done, recognition for the work you've already done as a participant in this program, in the state's program, to give you the Tree City USA status. So all you would need to do is upload this annual accomplishment report to your Tree City application, which again, they will review with you tomorrow on how to do that as your supporting documentation for certain line items of the 4 requirements of Tree City USA. It's kind of like a reminder here, like, hey, just letting you know that both this annual accomplishment report and your Tree City USA application are due on the same day. So while you're doing this, you can also do that. We provide a link here so that you can go ahead and get started with your application. So, if you were going to go no, then you can click this link, and maybe, go back and finish it and come back and click yes before you submit it to us. So everywhere and sorry if I'm scrolling too fast. So on the first page, we do let you know, we show you the Tree City USA icon, and we let you know that anytime you see this logo, it means that the information provided under that question can be directly placed into your Arbor Day Foundation Tree City USA application. And then this report can be directly updated to their website through their application process. So, here we see the first one, and we're letting you know that you can upload this application to support that. And then we'll see where the Tree City USA logo appears later on in our report, and those are the other criteria for that designation. So not only does it help you provide the background and supporting documentation, but it also lets you know what the 4 standards for Tree City USA are. So if you're not already a Tree City USA, you're like, oh, well, I have all of these things. I could upload this and submit an application for Tree City USA. All right, continuing on page 3 of the annual accomplishment report. This section has to do with the groups that are responsible for urban and community forestry in your community. So Tree City USA standard number 1 actually asks, you can have either a municipal county department, a tree department, or a tree advocacy board. So, or you can have both. If you have both, please fill in everything. If you have one or the other, this can be used for your Tree City USA application. I'm going to link back, and this might be too much information, but talking again about these federal reports that I supply. One of the requirements for my reporting to the Forest Service is also they have an advocacy advisory board checkbox. So, and that is different from the tree board or department. So I do need to know if you have a volunteer tree board, an advocacy group, shade tree commission, etc. We do need both the department and the advocacy board because I need that for reporting. So when we ask you for the department, is it Department of Public Works? Is it Parks and Recreation? Is it community services? It depends on whatever your municipal department for tree management is. And you could come back and say, oh, well, we don't have an official department dedicated to tree management. So, and that's okay too. You can just have your advocacy board or body. But ultimately, every town has to address a tree issue in some way, shape, or form. So if that does come back to, where does your municipality, send, even if you contract the work out, who's the point person for trees in your municipality? And that person should go here. So that person that maybe you'd want to put in the contact information as the municipal head of the tree program, don't put that person on page 1. Let's put that person right here on page 3. For the advocacy board, which in New Jersey would be a commission or a committee or an advisory board, that information would also go here on this page. This is important because we can update our accomplishment status with you all, and we know if there's a different point person than we already have in our records, so that we can update our records based on these 2 pages to make sure we're getting the most up-to-date information to the people who actually can need it and use it and understand what it is. So that's what the program administration is really all about. The next question is your community tree ordinance. So this is required both for Tree City USA it's one of their standards. And I also do have to report to the Forest Service on this one. I have to let them know if towns have an ordinance or not. And then for us, we're just asking to delineate out so that you can more understand what kind of tree ordinances that you have as well. So you're like, oh, well, we have an ordinance that talks about removal, but it doesn't tie to any sort of replacement factor. Or, we established our shade tree committee or commission, but we never passed an enabling ordinance that actually gives them power over the decisions and management of the trees. So so that's what this section is all about. If you don't really understand maybe what category your ordinance is or how to find that out, just let us know and we can help you navigate those systems. Many towns have their e-codes online now, and so you can find that readily available through your municipality's website. One more thing about the ordinances tied to Tree City USA, which they'll go over in more detail, is that the Tree City, in order for your ordinance to count for Tree City USA, it has to say those things like who has the delegated authority over the trees and how are they going to be managed. And they'll talk in more detail about that on the webinar tomorrow. So the next we have the statement of tree budget. So this statement of tree budget looks a little bit different than what would be in your community forestry management plan, because we're trying to improve upon that one and get everybody to understand where the municipal funds are going, what they're being used for, and the different categories that can exist. And then what we've done is we've aligned that. So once you fill in all the information from these categories, it will auto-populate below. And these categories, tree planting and initial care, tree maintenance, removals, and management, these are the 4 budget categories that are in the Tree City USA application. So once you complete this and you have these numbers, these are the numbers that you can enter into the online Tree City USA application. And then you can upload this annual accomplishment report, since it's signed by your mayor, as the supporting documentation for your Tree City USA application. So administration. And what we ask you to do is get your management plan off the shelf, as we like to say, or open it up in your computer, and to the best that you can, line up these categories with the categories that are in your plan to see how you were thinking about it when the plan was developed and how you're looking at where your resources are going. And then when you check back with your CFO or your business administrator from your municipality, you can send them this and say, hey, anything related to trees and forests, this is what we had in our budget from our plan. What did we actually, spend this year? Because with the release of the new guidelines in the future, that's how we're actually gonna have you budgeting out for the future and understanding where are you now, where do you want to be, and how do you know? And so these new reports are gonna get you thinking like that. Oh, this is what we said in our report, so this is where were 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and this is what we actually did last year. So maybe we should focus on X, Y, and Z, getting municipal support behind whatever activities you were and getting those dollars behind that as well. It's a good way also to say, hey, this is, what we spent, this is how much volunteers contributed to our program. Do you, can we leverage any funds in the municipal budget currently, or could we get a little bit money for whatever activity your plan has you prioritizing for the coming years. So for the volunteer contribution, you're probably keeping track of this if you have a grant anyway. If you don't have a grant from us that you're implementing and tracking volunteer time, you should really always, all of your shade tree activities, always keep track. Your municipal meetings, your shade tree commission meetings, always have a sign-in sheet so you know how many people were there, for how long, and then you can correspond that participation in meetings as volunteer time, and show your municipality the time that you're investing in this. Um, so that's where that goes. Volunteer contribution can also be, if you have a tree planting project, if you have volunteers helping you, always have sign-in sheets. Count how many people are there, and on your sign-in sheet at the top, always put a start time of the activity and an end time. And then you'll have a formal record of how many volunteers engaged with you on that activity, and then you can report it here. In New Jersey, so the U.S. Forest Service refers all of us to the independent sector volunteer rate. And so we also let you all know that you can use the independent sector volunteer rate for your hours. This website now requires you to do just establish a login, I guess, so they can send random emails to all of you. In sorry, in your spam box. So in order to upload or access the state specific information, you just need to create a little login for the independent sector rate. And then we'll probably work on getting that information to you guys via some mechanism in the future as well. And so we always want to use the New Jersey rate because there is a national average, but that national average only benefits states where the average rate is less than the national average. And so for New Jersey, we range anywhere from $3 to $5 higher per hour than the national average. So, just make sure. And then they usually run like a year behind. So, if you're in 2019 and you only have the rate for 2018, it's definitely fine to use the 2018 rate for this year's work because you don't have the most recent number yet. So that's the statement of tree budget. So then the next step is to ask if you celebrated Arbor Day in 2019. And the reason we have this question is to facilitate your application to Tree City USA. The Arbor Day celebration is a Tree City USA standard. It's number 4. So the state of New Jersey doesn't require you to have an Arbor Day celebration. So I just want to make sure that's clear, although we'll highly encourage it. But it is one of the Tree City USA standards. So we need, in order for you to use this document to upload in the support of your Tree City application, excuse me, you have to let us know whether you had an Arbor Day celebration or not. So we just click yes or no. And then the date of the Arbor Day celebration in your municipality. And then we just want you to tell us a little bit about your Arbor Day celebration. we volunteered with the local school group to plant X amount of trees, or we, had our green fair with, our sustainable Jersey hub, and, we distributed seedlings through the, Forestry Nurseries tree recovery program to our residents, or whatever it is that you did, we just need to know about it. And so aside from providing this required information to the Arbor Day Foundation for Tree City, this is really helpful for us in pro in programming for the future, so we can get a sense of what type of activities are you all implementing. What might you be looking for funding for the future? Is it, a celebration in conjunction with education? So just, it's important for us to understand what's going on so we can help you carry out these activities as well. Oh, and then the pictures. So the pictures, you don't need to upload your Arbor Day pictures to this application unless those are the pictures you want to provide to us at the end as well. There's another opportunity for you to upload photos to the Arbor Day Foundation application itself. They do require, photos or a program or some sort of proof of the event. So that's what we mean by the photos and proof of activity. Oh, and in conjunction with the Arbor Day celebration, they do require a proclamation for Arbor Day locally. But again, Mike will talk in more detail about that tomorrow. So the next component of the webinar, we want to let you all know about of the webinar. Of the annual accomplishment report is training and education. And again, this is information that we need in order to inform us about how we can serve you better, because that is why we are here. So we want to know where your communities, urban and community forestry, training and education needs adequately addressed for both employees of the municipality and volunteers. And we want you to describe that. We want to know what programs or educational opportunities did you go to this year that you got CEUs for, or maybe it was our core training that, like, you thought was the best that year, so we can keep, improving on it and bringing that to you. And then, we do need feedback or suggestions on improvement. So if there's a certain type of education program that you're looking for, if you want, grants management, or, developing municipal budgets for tree programs, or, young tree pruning, there's, let us know that. If there's something that, like, we're missing, we need to know so that we can incorporate it into our curriculum as well. And then, so not only what do you need, but then, the way that these programs grow and are sustained over time is by sharing. And, the 3 E's that I like to talk about is the engaging and education and empowering other people to help you and to help the program. So that's what we want to understand. What are you guys doing, whether it's the municipal department or shade tree commissions or boards, to take what you're learning and then disseminating that information within your communities. So that's what this question 31 is asking. Are you educating the folks around you with the knowledge? And it's not just residents also. So, if you're a shade tree commission or a committee and you think it's important, that your municipality or your DPW workers, etc., also get, training. That's something to note and put in there. Is there something for municipal tree care programs that we're missing or that we should engage with in a different way? So that's the education component. And so the next section is where we hope from the budget section that you left your community forestry management plan out, and you're going to open it up again and refer to section 9 in your plan. So section 9 is called Statement of Plan Implementation, which is a weird set of words to put together. So what I like to think of section 9 as is the timeline, right? So you've said these are your goals and these are your objectives and these are the actions. And so this is the statement of how you're going to implement these actions over time. So open up section 9. And again, as in the budget section, we just want you to understand, like, what did we say we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? And what are we doing now? And these reports, also keep in mind, you're not, nobody's being graded on the reports. And there's no right answers. But we just want you to be understanding how your plan is a resource for me. And if there's been transition and things have changed, this is just for you to understand where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go. So you open up section 9 and you put in your timeline objective. So if you look closely at your plan, and in the statement of plan implementation, I think there's, is it 4 required activities? So those required maybe it's 3. That's terrible. Don't tell anybody that I don't remember if it's 3 or 4. So there's tree planting, there's tree maintenance, there's an inventory, and I feel like there's something else that I'm missing. Anyway, so you at least those 4 things can enter here. So, what was your timeline objective? Was it to plant like 350 trees, planted in year 4 of plan, and, accomplished this year, we planted like 100 trees, and then you can say, the price per tree went up, or, whatever reasons that you didn't, reach your goal, or if you exceeded your goal, just provide us with some of the details so that, you have something for the record. We just actually yesterday had a town asking us, they're like, oh, we went through all this transition. Do you have our annual accomplishment reports like back to 2014? And I was like, But, so this information is really good for succession and transition as well, because we can share it with you guys and you can use it in the future. So that's what this is all about. So we want you to refer to whatever objective that was talked to in section 9 of your plan, and just where are you? Did you get to it this year or not? And then, okay, so we have up to 4. So then, yeah, it's got to be 4 things required. What am I missing? Planting, maintenance. Anyway, so as we're working in the New Jersey Forest Service to develop an urban wood program and a utilization and marketing program for trees and forest products in general in New Jersey, we are very nascent with this and it's just developing. We do want to get a sense of like, what are folks doing out there in terms of urban wood utilization? Do you have something set up? Do you not? Do you just chip it all? so that's what we have here. And then this, again, this information we share with our program and the Forest Service for utilization and marketing to give them a sense of what our communities are doing. And yeah, so that they can program their program accordingly. And then finally, we have the highlights and comments. And please don't leave this box blank. You'd be surprised that a lot of people will come back and haven't typed anything in this section. But this is your section that to toot your horn. And we want everybody tooting their horns. We want to know what you're doing. This is where we hear from all of you, even the quiet ones, about like the cool, great work that you're doing. So please let us know. It doesn't have to be anything and everything, but like one highlight, you know, that you want to let us know that you're doing. And it can be a simple thing, like, we hired a forester, after 8 years of a suspended forestry program, or, we got, 3 new shade board members, something like that, whatever it is, or we planted, 350 trees, with volunteers, or, or we rewrote our municipal specs for tree planting. Like, we just need to know what's going on. What do you guys think is cool? What are you really proud of? And what's going to really what have you done this year that you think is going to help your program next year and years to come? So that section is pretty important. And then we also ask that you provide any pictures about this activity or anything else that you want to show us with these annual accomplishment reports. You just attach them to the email that you send, and I'll go through the submission procedures. But it's really good for us to get photos as well, because we can show them off. We can post your photos on our Facebook page and send them through Gov Delivery, so that other folks throughout the state can know what you're doing and look to you as a resource for this kind of project. And then vice versa, if there's any cool things going on, we can share that with everybody, so that folks can reach out to each other and collaborate, and et cetera, et cetera. The final thing too about this section as well is this section is an opportunity to also, quote unquote, apply for our awards. So I don't know if anybody's seen or noticed our Facebook posts and email messages about our 2 awards programs. So one is the Green Communities Awards, and these are awards that we give out at the annual Shade Tree Federation conference banquet for programs, individuals, municipalities, businesses that are making, significant contributions in different ways to urban and community forestry. And then we also have a second award, which is kind of like our Lifetime Achievement Award in Urban and Community Forestry. And that's the J. Sterling Morton Award that we present every year at the state Arbor Day celebration. And we're asking that you submit nominations. Please nominate yourself or your municipality for any of these awards. The information is back on that homepage that I showed you on our website. So that we can, show you off and you can get the recognition that you all need. The self-nomination is definitely okay and highly encouraged. So this is a point, like maybe you have a longtime Shade Tree Commission member that's done a lot for your program and is about to retire. Let us know that in this section. We can we can you know, recognize those people through our awards, and we would really love to do so. So again, yeah, the photos and the descriptions and the horn tootin' is on page 9 of 9. So, and then again, provide any comments or suggestions for the program. I love feedback. I love, even if it's negative, it helps me know what everybody's thinking, and it helps us know. You know, people. So, you know, let us know. Let us know what you're thinking about us, or, you know, what we can do to help you, because that's why we're here. And, you know, it's, if we don't know, then we don't know. And if you don't say so, then we won't know. So that in an, oh no, submission and signature. Sorry, everybody. So to submit the application, we really ask that you submit it electronically to Mike. It's a lot easier for us to maintain the records and analyze data, et cetera, what we need to do if it's electronic. And so we're asking you to send them to Mike Martini at dep.nj.gov. For those of you who may not know Mike yet, Mike is our new forester. Brian McDonald moved on to the private land program, and so Mike is on board with us now, and he's going to be filling Brian's shoes going forward. So if you have any questions about your AAR or submission, reach out to Mike at this email address. If you do need to send it traditional post, feel free to do so. This is our address. And then finally, just know that we ask that these reports be submitted with a signature from the mayor or county freeholder. The reason that we ask you to do this is because we want you to have a chance to get in front of your mayor, council, your decision makers, to show off all the work that you've been doing, to go back to your budget and show the leverage. Say, you know, our budget is skimpy, but, you know, look at how much volunteer contribution we're making to this program. You know, look at how, you know, we got a grant to do this or do that. You know, can you throw us a bone? How can we get tree and forest management, you know, into our budget municipally or countywide? And so that's why we ask for these signatures. We provide the framework for you to get in front of your decision makers and show off your work. And even if you're not showing off, if you're having troubles and this report shows that, you can say, you know, we were here and now we're here. So that is the reason that that is there. And as the fillable PDF, you can download and save it to your hard drive, fill it out, and then you print it and have your mayor, county freeholder sign it, and then just scan it right back into the computer and send it over. And we ask that you attach any supporting documents, such as those photos, any promotional materials, anything you've developed that you think is cool and we should see, just attach that along with this report to in the email to Mike. So with that, let me get to the questions. So talk about fringe benefits on budget page. All righty, here we go. We're going to go back and then work our way up, I guess. So fringe benefits on budget page. So the fringe is something that your CFO or your business administrator, your program administrator should be able to provide you with. So if you have a municipal department, a tree department in your municipality, so everybody knows that there's salary, and then there's the fringe benefits, which, you know, could be medical, dental, blah, blah, blah. I don't keep track of all of them. So you can find out what the fringe costs are from your business administrator or CFO. The indirect costs are costs incurred, they're the shared costs of the municipality, you know, to keep the lights on, to get the toilets cleaned, to carry out so many operations and daily functions. And so that's sometimes applied. And so if you have people that are strictly dedicated to tree and forest management, or a firm percentage of that their time is dedicated to that, then you can prorate their fringe rate in relation to the time that they're spent doing their tree and forest work for the municipality. I hope that answers those questions. So let's go through. Okay. Oh, all right. Can no longer hear me. Oh, that was earlier. Sorry, everybody. Okay. So, all right, we did that one. I'm sorry, I'm used to Terry guiding me through the questions. So here we
Carrie,
go.
I'm here. I can guide you if you'd like.
No, it's okay. I'll go back. So we were just with, where did Barry's question go? Oh, okay. For municipal salaries, do we include the full salaries for every? Okay, so that's the same kind of question that you have to, you know, maybe it's like a good idea to invite the BA or whoever is responsible for managing that budget to, you know, the shade tree meeting in January or something like that, to get an understanding of what numbers should go in there. But if they're not solely dedicated to tree and forest work, then whoever crunches those numbers should be able to prorate the salary, fringe and indirect, in relation to the time that that person is supposed to be spending on that work in that position. Okay. So I just want to get to all the questions about the AAR. Oh, okay. So Jill, that's the question that Jill was asking is, when they're typing in the box, they can't see everything that they're typing and it's just like a run-on sentence. We will take note of that, and we have to reformat the boxes so that they wrap text. So we will do that, and hopefully all of these changes will be in the form by the end of this week as well. So next one. So the statement of tree budget format will be an eventual new addition or revision to the CFMP, so the plan aligns with the AAR format. That's where we're thinking of going. So we don't, you know, the guidelines, the new guidelines haven't been firmed, but when the new guidelines come out, whatever in the AAR will firmly align to that. And I think that this can give you a good idea of where we will end up and where we're thinking of going with that. I hope that. Okay, you are most welcome for the alignment with the Tree City USA app. Okay, and so now we go down. Sorry, everybody. All right, so we did that one. So one question, although she says she's just grouching, but it's a really good question, and it speaks to something that we do want to add to the subsequent guidelines, and we are talking about it so that everybody knows, is that, you know, thinking about succession planning, you know, how do we do that? And how do we make sure that, like, once we're done doing what we've been doing and all this hard work, you know, that somebody's there to pick it up? And that's kind of why we're trying to make this report the way that it is, and that so that there's something there for people to send forward and share. You guys are totally free to post these reports on your websites and make these reports publicly available through your local systems in order to share this information and see if there are people who could pick up for you, where you're leaving off. And so I think that's a really great question. And anybody else who has any ideas about how how to improve succession planning and shade tree commissions and municipal tree programs, give me a call. Okay, so if you received a Green Communities Award last year, can you apply again this year? So the New Jersey Urban and Community Forestry Program has 2 grant programs. One grant program is the Green Communities. Oh, wait, you said award. I thought that meant grant. If we received a Green Communities grant is award. We usually don't. All right, so if this is the award that's presented at, Kristen, at the Shade Tree Federation meeting, we usually don't apply, we usually don't give repeat awards. We like to spread the goodness so that other people can get awards. If you have a special project that you want to share with us to promote, and then we can say, as a former Green Communities Award winner, check out what they're doing now, we would be happy to help you promote that and do that. So that's really cool. So I do want to talk about the grants, though, because that's the whole reason that everybody's doing this annual accomplishment report, because we require this report for full accreditation. So in our last 5 minutes, even though I misunderstood Kristen's original question, what I was starting to say was we do have 2 grant programs. And so the one is the Green Communities grant, and I think everybody's familiar with that. And that's to develop or update your community forestry management plan. So that grant program is still going for communities developing their very, 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 very first community forestry management plan. For communities needing to update their plans, we've suspended that grant program because we're looking to release our new guidelines in October, and we're kind of going to revamp Green Communities grants to support everybody updating their plans in accordance with the new guidelines. There's going to be participation. We're going to give you guys, stuff ahead of time, so everybody will be looped in. But just so you know, for the Green Communities grants, that's where we are. And then the reason that you're doing this annual accomplishment report to trigger this accreditation is the Stewardship Grants. So that's our second grant program, and we are going to offer grants again in 2020. We just sent out the awards for our 2019 grants. Everything's through an electronic system. So it's important that we get these reports from you, because the trigger for getting the yes in the accreditation status for your community for this calendar year is this report. And so once we trigger it to yes, and you don't have a current open NJUCF stewardship grant for resiliency planning or tree planting, you can come in and apply for a grant for resiliency planning or tree planting next year. So that's why these reports are important. Well, another reason why these reports are important and useful to you, because hopefully too, while you're filling out this report, you're thinking about like, oh, this is where our budget is. This is what we're, and any costs that show up in your tree budget, you can use as leverage, you know, for whatever grants that we're giving you as match, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, think of these reports as a tool to really help you at the end of every year. Regroup. Okay, so how do we handle the all right, MP moving forward since we are being delayed 5 years? So you're not being delayed. You can go ahead and update your plan. That's totally fine with me. And if you have new objectives and goals, or you've, you know, reached one goal and want to add some action items to your plan, you can feel free to do so and send us your updated plan to Mike. We just don't have the grant because we're going to be using the funds for the update of the plans under the new guidelines, and so we are not supplying any grants for the update. And to let folks know as well, I'm sorry, so to let folks know as well, where was I going? I just lost it. Anyway, grants. Yeah, you can definitely go ahead and update it if your community has the capacity to do all of that. And just, you know, reach out to Mike. Yeah, so no, we're on time. Time's up, but I'm just going to answer these last couple of questions. So if you just received a grant award, do you complete this report in 2021, or can we? Okay, so reach out to Mike Martini, Claire, for more details on this, so that we can, because this annual accomplishment report is different than the annual report that we require if you have an open grant. This is the report that we need for you to solidify your accreditation for 2019 with our program. Yes, so this webinar will be on our website and accessible to everybody. My apologies for the cold. And I've put the CEU form on the website, so you can print it out directly from your screen or take a screenshot of it, give us all the required information, and send it over to Mike at the information on the bottom. So I think if nobody else has any more questions, that should be it. And you could always reach out to us at any time. This is what we're here for, to help. And looking forward to everybody showing us the love on February 15th. Bye.